No questions? No. We are in the process of arranging bail as we speak. As you can imagine, there are a number of moving parts. Mr. Dulos is on the phone with someone right now. Attorney Smith will be with him this afternoon. It's unclear to me whether all of the parts will fall together today. We expect them to. And, you know, I know it's cold and waiting around is no fun, but if you're waiting to see Mr. Dulos, it's probably worth the wait in my view. If it's not today, it'll be tomorrow. Beyond that, you know, we are obviously disappointed in the bond. We think it's far too high. We are relieved, by, as I said last night, by what we see in the warrant. Sort of startled by the fact that the state changed its theory mid-course from one of trying to end the divorce to trying to take financial advantage of the children's trust. If the state can't figure out what it's trying to do after however many months it's had to investigate this case, I don't know how a jury will make a decision in the 4 to 6 weeks it'll take to try this case. But in any case, we are relieved, we're optimistic, we're looking forward to getting the discovery, and we very much want to try this case. Mr. Dulos wants to clear his name.
Norm, can you talk about the reduction in bond that you asked for, and what were some of the reasons for that?
Yeah, it's extraordinary. In Connecticut, if you read the papers or listen to the news, you'll almost never see a bond of this magnitude for a person without an extensive criminal record. Mr. Dulos has already been free and at liberty on a cumulative total of $1 million. We thought that, frankly, was sufficient, but if the court needed to put a little salt on it, well, another million would do. I think $6 million is extraordinary. Having said that, you know, my hunch was it was going to be in the $5 million range if you had asked me 2-3 months ago, and that is because of his substantial overseas connection. But we do not regard him as a flight risk, and his mental health is fine. He's anxious and very much engaged and involved with us in preparing his defense. We want him sitting next to us in our office going over the tens of thousands of documents we will soon receive.
Norm, how do you react to the fact?
Is that Helen Thomas speaking?
How do you react to the fact that there is still a protective order against contact with children?
Unnecessary surplusage. We'll deal with that on another day. You know, that is a pro forma ruling that seems to fly in the face of the presumption of innocence. Mr. Dulos is cloaked in it. We'll get him out of jail and then we'll deal with that.
Norm, how can you be relieved at finding out what's in the arrest warrant documents and there's 22 items that have Fotis' DNA on it, according to police?
According to police, there are. I suspect some of my DNA is probably on your hand right now. I shook it. Mr. Dulos was present in that home. We don't know how much there was. There does not appear to be a crime scene weapon. There doesn't appear to be any admissions or statements against penal interest. There's no body. What we have is a suspicious disappearance and an entirely circumstantial case. When I say I'm relieved, I'm not being cocky. This is a serious case, and it requires serious attention, and we will give it such. But after this great length of time, I expected to see a forensic display that was breathtaking. I saw nothing.
As for the next hearing for your client was scheduled soon for the initial charge that gets him. Are those going to all be combined, or what do we expect going forward from today?
The cases will be consolidated. I suspect they will be consolidated for trial because, as in lawyer speak, they are cross-admissible as to one another. And so we will next be in court on February 28th. We may come in a little earlier if we decide we want to waive a probable cause hearing. That would be a significant move for us because until we do so or have that hearing, the state will not give us any discovery. So all we have as to the underlying charge of murder is what you have, the warrant. We want the rest. Yes.
Can you tell us, did you see the investigators find it?
I was standing right next to him. We'd heard for weeks they were looking for an axe, and there was a discussion about whether we should give it to them. My opinion was, no, you don't walk into the police saying, here's an axe. In this case, what are they going to say? It's Lizzie Borden's murder weapon? You know, when they took him out of the house, they saw the thing in the garage, they took it. I mean, knocked themselves out. They do whatever they like with it. No, I really don't. If there was going to be significance to it, I doubt it would have been sitting in plain view for them to see when they came into the house.
So again, on the affidavit, you don't see anything in there that concerns you. What about the surveillance of him apparently dumping evidence and the bloody items that are found in the bags? How do you explain all that?
We will do so at the time of trial. We have an explanation, but I'm not going to give it in advance of trial. The jury will hear it and the state will hear it for the first time from Mr. Dulos himself.
So what do you think is happening here? Why do you think they're going after it?
You'll have to wait for trial to get to that. Stay tuned.
Once you
they come to the conclusion from the medical expert in the warrant that Jennifer is dead and met a violent end?
Have you ever seen Dr. Gill testify?
I have not.
Dr. Gill is a very opinionated person. If there is evidence to suggest she lost so much blood that she must be dead, we've yet to see it, and I'll have to discuss that with Dr. Gill.
Yesterday, New Canaan police said that this arrest was justice. Is this justice?
I think it's closure for them. They've worked hard to get that. I think justice will be what the jury verdict reflects. From our perspective, that'll mean freedom for Fotis.
What do you believe happened to Jennifer?
I don't have a belief. I've tried to follow the leads as best as I can, and I think, and I've shared a number of hypotheses with you over time. The result has been a gag order that we've argued in front of the state Supreme Court. So I want to respect that order until the Supreme Court rules. I think it's a wide open story. I think this remains a what happened. There are two types of cases. There are what happened and there are whodunits. This doesn't rise to the level of a whodunit because we don't really know what happened.
Does he still think she's alive? Do you still think she's alive?
What I think doesn't matter, and Fotis will.
She's alive?
I'm not going to comment on his beliefs. He'll testify and he'll be questioned in open court about them. So thank you very much. Stay warm. Happy New Year.